So you don't like ketchup?
No.
Mustard?
Why do you have to do this for?
Mustard?
No.
What about brown sauce?
No.
Baked beans?
No.
Eggs? Poached?
Not poached. Poached is alright, just not your little normal breakfast.
Salmon?
Meal. Salmon's alright, not you have it raw though.
Salmon, what about hollandaise sauce?
No.
No. What about like mayonnaise?
Definitely not.
No?
No.
Mate, what have I let myself in for? We're going to France to have the condiments. It's about the extras.
If I told you this beforehand, I wouldn't be going, would I?
No.
So this is why I haven't told you. So we're here now. So
Mark's
that's
bad
it.
enough with his Earl Grey, and you've just come at me with the dietary requirements of I don't know what.
I got a full list.
Yeah. Hopefully you brought some Welsh stew, some leek soup or something.
Dragon eggs.
Yeah, dragon eggs.
So this is Luke. I'd invited him along on this trip as my usual partner in crime, Mr. Mark, couldn't make it unfortunately due to family commitments. Now I'd never spent more than a few days in Luke's company, yet here we were, about to be living in each other's pockets for a full 7 days as we toured around Europe in search of some wild public water carp. And I'm Mike, and I'm currently sat at my desk a week after this incredible trip, trying to bring this story to life. You see, these adventures are all about teamwork. I've been on enough of these road trips now to know just how physically challenging they are, and picking the right wingman could either make or break the trip. I was a little nervous, to be honest, but I was soon to find out that Luke was the perfect man for the job. Well, almost.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But when I see you
Well, we made it, mate. We've made it through the tunnel, and I don't know. I always get nervous right now because the trip is in its infancy. You don't know how many twists and turns it's going to make, and I always think it's all about making the right decisions. We've already looked at the map and changed our mind about 10 times, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I still now, right now, I'm in France. I genuinely don't know where I'm going to go fishing. I think we're just going to agree on the first stop, and it's going to be a canal. You know, maybe a 3 hours in, and then from that point, once we've unpacked the van, settled in for a little bit, we'll assess our options and go again tomorrow. This is only going to be a quick pit stop, but tomorrow we go on to a big lake, Barrage Lake, we hope. But which one? I don't know yet.
After some questionable music choices on the drive down, we soon arrived at our first destination. It was a canal that we had the luxury of driving along. It was a perfect pit stop to see if we fancied it for the night. With the water clarity being relatively clear, we were sure we'd spot them. But after 2 hours of looking, we had nothing to show for our efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just stopping now.
It's fizzing up just there, isn't it? Has it stopped?
Yeah.
It sort of tells me that it's carp, mate, because as soon as we pull up next to it,
Stops.
the fizzing stops. Interesting.
Bit more at the back here, look.
Yeah. Well, all the fizzing that we thought was carp actually isn't. So it only took us 10 or so minutes to work out that there's loads of fizzing going on. So we stopped the van, obviously jumped out, had a look at it, and it's all gas off the bottom of the canal. So the canal's so clear, we can see it all bubbling up from the bottom. Now, if that canal was murky, I reckon we'd easily mistaken it for carp because it looks so like a feeding carp, like rummaging around in the sill, but it isn't. So we're trying to just look for a bit of coloured water, I think, at the minute, and that'll be the only thing we have to go on for tonight anyway.
I'd been driving over 7 hours at this point, and I just needed a break. So we decided to stop off at a little old haunt of mine for the first night, as we could just drop them in the edge and get some well-needed rest. Well, that plan soon went out the window.
Mate, you'd be forgiven to think that there's no carp in here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's surprised me massively.
Yeah, it's a tiny little stopgap. We've had a look around on a couple of little stretches today, but this one sort of tickles your fancy, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just, they ain't going anywhere. It's small, cute fishing. Hopefully we can bag one.
Out the van.
Straight out the van, yeah, bonus.
Yeah, so we can be on our way tomorrow morning, exactly where we want to be.
Yeah, straight away.
Little stopgap. Mate, it looks like a quintessential, like, English canal, doesn't it? Look like it should be like a moat round an estate.
Something back at home, innit? It's just home from home, basically, for me anyway.
Yeah, nice.
It's my type of fishing.
Right, under the rod tip stuff, but let's put this camera down, mate, because it's very hot, very sweaty, and we better get at least half a camp set up and get some rods out.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Literally just before, right, that I put the rod out, it was fizzing, so I left it. We do get the sweat on my tash.
Literally tear your arm off, don't they, Luke?
Yeah. I'm shaking here just because it's the first one.
Yeah. Right. Go on. Yes, Luke. Yes, that's a good fish. That's a good fish, mate. That's a good fish. What are you saying about that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely shocked.
Mate, look at that. Tiny, tiny little canal. And then something like that pops up. Look at that.
Mate.
Yes,
wild.
Luke. Yes. Yes.
That is
And
wild.
mate, Stella, I love the fact that the guys over there are just like watching you doing all your thing over there. It's like call it over here, and yeah, they're watching you doing the whole fight. Brilliant.
Oh, mate.
Absolutely
What a
brilliant.
start that is.
Oh mate, that's a proper overslung. Great start. Overslung mouth, look at him. God, yes, yes. That's a great start, mate. 32.8, 32.6.
That'll do.
Something like that.
That'll do. 30 is a start. What a great start that is.
Yes, Luke. A great start, mate.
Absolutely buzzing. It didn't take long at all, did it?
Half an
Hour
hour?
or so?
Half hour.
Sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, but either way, what a start that is. I didn't expect this to pop up either. I know you said they're in here, but this thing from here is unbelievable.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Absolutely buzzing. Oh, mate.
Couple of minutes in the right spot. Yeah?
What a start. What an absolute start that is.
Yeah.
Get changed and do again.
Yay!
Santé
Bon
à
pêche.
ton poisson.
What up, mate? That's a great start. I don't usually drink these lady drinks. He says he's going to
Keep
bring.
me young.
He says he's going to bring cider. West Country cider is all I know. What the hell is that?
Fruit shoot.
You'll have to do, mate. You'll have to do.
C'est bon.
C'est bon.
C'est bon.
It was soon time for bed, but sadly, my much needed sleep just wasn't part of the script, as the youths of the local town once again used the car park opposite to conduct some rather shady business. Now this location, especially at night, isn't for the faint-hearted, and I felt very vulnerable under just a thin layer of nylon, and I just couldn't relax. Thankfully, the crazy canal carp took pity on me and helped with my insomnia. The sunrise also brought tranquility once again, as even the local dealers needed some shut-eye.
The intention was to try and at least get 6 or 7 hours sleep before we move on today.
For a big drive today, yeah. That didn't happen.
It hasn't happened. It's been crazy busy. And since the early hours this morning, like 4 o'clock until now, I've had 4 takes. I reckon I might have 3 30-pounders, which is an amazing result, and I'm really happy about it because the trip has got off to a flying start. But in the same token, no sleep. Absolutely no sleep, because over there last night in that car park, although this little canal looked picturesque by day, and it's all very quintessential and quiet, over there it feels like a whole different canal. I'm sure they were up to no good in that car park. There's cars coming and going and packages being handed out in here till sort of 4 o'clock this morning. And then over here, I don't know what was going on. They were trying to break into something. There was kids and youths, and it sounded like little riots going on over there. So crazy little spot. But yeah, that sort of stopped me getting any decent sleep. And then of course the action started, and it was all systems go. In the end, I actually reeled the rod in because I thought I can't put out again. I just need a little bit of sleep. But yeah, that didn't happen. So right, mate, we'll pack down now. We'll get all this stuff together. We'll get a couple of the fish out, have a few pictures, do a bit of video, and then get on the road. And there's the first one of this morning's little flurry. 32-pound leathery one, big rubber lips on him. Look at that. That's a cool carp, isn't it? Yes. Nice one, Luke, isn't he?
There's a proper one.
Look at his rubber lips. Big sort of troffer. I love the fact that they live in this tiny little canal, which is in the middle of absolute chaos. Yeah, there's a couple of little jewels like this. £31. Lovely fish.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, nice.
That looks bigger.
Lovely. Time to get on the road. Well, mate, look at this. Look at all the shells, all the mussel shells in amongst all the cremino. Look at that. Mate, it's so sharp. Imagine that coming out your back passage. God, mate, it's like shards of glass. But yeah, look at this. Absolutely covered in it. But that's the smallest one. Look at that. Like pearly shells. It's like razor blades. Poor bugger. But yeah, smallest one of the little flurry this morning. Not going to pick him up or anything. Just going to get him back.
He passed it to me this morning. The smell of it was strong enough.
Fucking hell, honestly. You could, the spoon sits up in it. That's it. He comes and delivers a coffee this morning. It's so strong, the spoon could sit up straight. It's like gravy. It is like gravy. I mean, I love Patrick, and it's a big thing when we come here to pop in and say hello. But mate, that coffee this morning making me twitch and all sorts. It's so strong. Unfortunately, I couldn't drink it all. So Patrick's nuclear coffee. I had a couple of sips. Another reason why I couldn't drink it all, because if you have more than 3 sips, you instantly need the bathroom. It is like a caffeine enema. Mate, you must feel like you're going home. Look at this. This looks like the English estuary. It's the colour of it, and this bridge looks like the Severn Bridge. It's crazy. It really looks like, well, I'm just going back over to Wales. Yeah. Engineering masterpiece this is. But we still got a long way to go. We're going to stop for a coffee in a minute. See, these little eyes are getting very small. Last thing you want is somebody tired driving, so I might have a quick break.
Thank you, merci.
Well, we both agreed we wanted an adventure. And in the moment, that morning when we packed up on the canal, we actually decided to drive 7 hours west, as I'd heard of a barrage that once held some nice carp. But that's all I had to go on. I personally didn't know a single angler that had been there in the past, but in a strange way, that excited us somewhat. But as you can imagine, it came with a big risk, especially on limited time. That said, we were driving away from an abundance of other options. Places with proven track records of big carp, to a barrage of unknown potential.
Look at this place. It looks like Jurassic Park. Lots of twists and turns, classic barrage with a big dam at the top end. But as you can tell, just going to wipe the lens. It's raining, lights fading, but we've decided to sort of set up just on this corner here and sort of hopefully command this whole bay. The fishing's going to be pretty agricultural. There's no swims as such. Yeah, and potluck. It's going to be absolute potluck. They'll either be here or they're not. We're not going to be able to get the rods out until tomorrow either. So for the time being, we'll get all this stuff into boats, and Luke's going to barrow some stuff down the path. Halfway there, mate. We're hoping to find something wild, and yeah,
This is it, isn't it?
this is wild.
Jurassic Park beat. That's what we asked for, and this is what we got. So
I don't know if there's any carp down in this bay though, but it looks enticing, doesn't it? It's a starting point.
like we spoke about, wouldn't it? So have a couple of days here and then
Yeah.
move on from there, really.
Yeah. Au revoir. Might be able to get a pint in there tomorrow, Luke.
Only if we catch.
Yeah. Well, mate, I had 8 hours sleep. That was an absolute incredible sleep coma after all that driving. Oh, at 8 hours it felt amazing. But as you can tell, we're at a new venue. And after all that driving yesterday, we knew we were going to get here on dark, and we did. And we were actually going to write off last night and not getting the rods out at all, because after all the long day and everything else, we thought it was going to be dark, and it was dark by the time we set up. But we dropped 4 rods in the end by about 11 o'clock last night. And I'm glad we did, because we hadn't seen anything. We went on a whim. We've come down to this end of the lake, again, just on a total potluck. And we were going to start fishing today. But by dropping those rods out last night, what I think it's done, it's enabled us to rule this area of the lake out, because we had no indication at all. We haven't heard anything, we haven't seen anything, and obviously the rods have remained motionless. So the plan is to have a coffee, although I'm going to have a coffee. Luke doesn't drink tea or coffee. Where's that come from?
Don't know, never liked it, never will, I don't think.
Mate, how? How is a carp angler not going to enjoy a coffee sat on the boat like this, taking in the ambience of the morning? I'm gonna have to make you one. I'm gonna try you a coffee and see if you like it.
Have a test.
Have a little test, have a coffee test. Glad there's a toilet just around the corner, mate. It might go through you pretty quickly if you've never had one before. But the plan is to load the boats up after a coffee, and we're gonna sort of chug our way round the corner of the barrage. It's a big old place, and try and find some carp. But we've ruled this area out. They're not here, which is good. And hopefully now we can go on the hunt and try and find a carp or two. But it's beautiful here, and I can really see us enjoying a couple of days in total wilderness. Mate, smell it. How can you not like coffee? Look. Oh, mate, it's just one of life's simple pleasures. Smell that. Smell that.
Oh my god.
What's wrong with
It's
that?
like ultra strong.
Oh, mate, this one is a beautiful blend of just amazing coffee.
Just amazing coffee.
Just amazing coffee, that's all we're going to go with it. Right, it's going to be Luke's first coffee. Ever?
First coffee ever.
No way.
Yeah.
This is
Just
crazy.
never liked the smell of it.
This is crazy stuff, kids. It's crazy stuff. I'll let that brew for a bit.
Well, the weird thing is as well,
What?
I actually own like 6 carpy mugs. I've never used them.
Have you not?
No, I think my
Are they
missus...
all just for show?
Yeah, I think my missus uses them every so often though. But this is the carpiest I've probably ever looked, as you would say.
Yeah. Just got to let that steam come in front of your face, and then that's 10 carpy points. Mate, how can somebody be in so much pain when it's a beautifully made coffee?
I don't like milk, I just don't like the smell of coffee, so it's two things I hate. Holding a cup of coffee means there's carp going to show. I'd do it every day, but I don't know, it's not for me.
It does, mate. As soon as you hold that cup of coffee, you're going to get a bite in a minute. It's the edge everyone doesn't talk about.
Fair enough.
Embrace it in your life. You're not a qualified carp angler without a carpy cup of coffee.
Cheers, carp.
Cheers, carp. Cheers, carp. Smell it. Smell it. Come on. What we saying? What we saying? What we saying?
It's not the worst I've ever tried, to be fair, but I don't know.
Is it a new addition in your carpy life?
I think if you force it over me for the next 4 days, then maybe.
It was around 10 AM before all the kit was loaded into the boats and Luke took the long journey to the middle section of the barrage, while I drove round to park the van. Now, we chose this new area as it just felt warmer than anywhere else. The water levels, however, were low, and what looked like big carp holding snaggy areas were all exposed and dry, so it made choosing a new swim rather tricky. But a move is always met with new hope and anticipation, so we got the rods out as quick as we could.
Seems really strange casting from the bank, but as we boated into this area, it looked flat calm off the back of the wind. Feels a lot warmer than the rest of the lake. We've seen like fizzing going on just out here. We haven't seen any carp head and shoulder. It might be gassing off the bottom, but it was real sporadic patches, wasn't it, Luke?
Yeah, well, it's the most carpiest thing we've seen so far.
Yeah, and if you were at home, you would be like, that's fizzing, I'm going to cast to it. So despite having boats and all the kit to drop big leads onto far margins, we're going to fish two in fairly close. We're going to spread some boilies around it. Very strange, but that's the only signs we've seen.
Are these your own dragon eggs you brought to the party from the valleys?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Nice. Rare things, dragon eggs. Never had a dragon's egg. Any
Wait
different?
until you try these. Oh. Starving. Starving.
It's been a long day, mate.
It has.
Takes forever to get these rods out, so as you can tell, we're in a new spot. We managed to get 2 rods out, another 2 here. Oh, where's the other one? There. And 2 over there. And that's taken the best part of like 4 or 5 hours just to get that to a point where we got 6 rods fishing. Bearing in mind we can fish another 2 each if we want to, but I think that's going to be it. So we've moved this morning. We were all the way around that bend. Don't know if you can see that. Right round like a dog leg. So we've boated all the way up here, because this felt the warmest part, and that was it. So that's all we've got to go on. Let's see what the afternoon brings. Well, this is classic public water problems. There's a guy over there in a float tube. I've zoomed in as much as I can, and he's already wiped 2 of my rods out by bouncing big heavy lures along the bottom, and bearing in mind I'm not even fishing that far out. Well, luckily I've reeled that rod in now. Otherwise, as you can see there, he's right over where I dropped it a few hours ago.
He obviously has caught it once. He's actually caught it, he's seen it, brought the braid up, tossed it back, seen me having to reel in, and then just decide to do it all again. This lake, I would imagine, is how big, Luke? A couple of 100 acres? Couple of 100 acres, and I would imagine there are no other pike anglers here. And we have got a narrow piece of barrage, and he's the only pike angler that's here, and he's going up and down this little length of bank right next to our rods. It's just bizarre. Maybe we're in the pike hotspot and not the carp hotspot.
We'd been here less than 12 hours, and already we were having doubts about our venue choice. Now, when you consider it took 7 hours to get here, and if we wanted to go back to familiar territory, it would involve another 7 hours drive back. It was a decision we didn't take lightly. But we agreed if we hadn't had a bite by first light, we'd pack up and tackle another huge day on the road. Now, to put this into context, it was like driving from my house in the southwest to Glasgow in Scotland and back again for an overnighter. Just saying that feels insane. It's something I'd never consider at home, but oddly when in Europe, it feels acceptable. Time felt like it was ebbing away, and we needed to make it happen. So by 7 AM, the boats were once again loaded as we sailed across the barrage back to the van.
Somebody's happy. Shower time.
Yes, needed.
Oh mate, I need to revitalise myself. I'm feeling a little bit jaded, a little bit rough around the gills.
The old
dear.
dust off.
I really hope this place has got a shower. They usually got free showers, which is great.
I just had to trade my car key in for a shower key, which is a bloody good trade-off because I can't wait to get in here. If I can open this thing. Right, let's see when I'm a new man. We're showered. I reckon I lost. Well, I shaved about 1 kilo of mud and dust and grit over my face. So, showered, shaved, although I'm a bit rough under the gill plate. I feel like a new man. And Luke's done a sterling job. Just got some pastries, but look at the size of that thing. Anyone for a game of rounders? I mean, that's a pastry, a chocolate croissant of sorts.
Deluxe.
Mate, look at it.
That's what it is.
That's going to go down a treat. 4.5 hours still on the clock. So yeah, I guess for now we're going to eat this, sit back in cruise control, and hopefully next time I check in we'll be at another venue. But for the time being, got a lot of pastries to eat.
Not nice, is it?
Oh mate, I love that. That sea stim there has got such a lovely salty taste. Don't advise that. Please don't follow suit. But we're chasing the light, and I honestly think today, as you can see, we're in a different backdrop. I think today is probably the longest drive I've ever done. Where we were previously, we took a big risk. I hadn't heard about it before. I'd just seen a couple of carp pictures, and you know, if I haven't heard about it, or it's not sort of on many anglers' radar, I thought, well, maybe it's all about timing. Maybe get there before it's well known or before the cat's out the bag, etc, etc. And actually it didn't turn out as I thought, and it was an absolute waste of time, really. It was a long drive, 2 nights, although beautiful surroundings, definitely carp in there. We didn't see a single sign of a fish. So we've driven 6.5 hours, Luke?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Something like a long way,
Long day.
all the way back to an area that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and there's a few more options if this doesn't work out tonight. But what I'm doing right now, before we can drop the rods, we're dropping them long distances, is mixing some bait, and there you go. That there is 24mm Cremino, some 18mm raw marine. Always mix the 2 baits up, done us proud in the past, and half a bag, probably 2.5 kilos of real sticky tigers from the guys at CARP Particles. So I love the tigers when they go sticky, almost alcoholic. I think they're at their best, and they really honk. So what I've done with the bait is I've put loads of sea stim on it. Always combine it with the oil, because that creates that lovely chum line as the food signals disperse from the spot, and I've given it a liberal coating of the crustacean compound, so you get this really salty to taste, and carp love salt and all that taste infused in the bait, but also you get that lovely leaching attraction. So we've got the liquids that hopefully is going to push off on the spot, and any carp in the area are going to follow that chum line, and obviously there's going to be a few banquet scoops of lovely carp fodder. But I better stop talking, because I've got an hour of light, and me and Luke got to drop 4 rods. We're going to fish 2 rods each tonight, because we're not going to have time to do another 2. So hopefully by the time I look down this camera, it'll either be me or Luke with a carp, because I'll tell you what, we bloody deserve it. If miles on the clock deserve a carp, then yeah, hopefully we might have, let's have 2, 3, anything. I'll have anything. I'll take anything. Mate, I'm just cooking dinner. An hour? Do you reckon an hour?
Yeah, if not less.
I mean, it's a hell of a toad down there. I tell you what, we haven't even got set up as a net.
Yeah, I can get that. It's that far out, we'll be sound.
You got my phone?
Yeah.
I dropped that in the proceedings, didn't I?
Yeah.
When you're pulling them in from distance, you just can't feel how big they are. Right. I'll keep pumping, mate. You go and set the net up quickly.
Yeah, it's on.
You kicking?
Yeah.
It's the weirdest feeling playing them at that distance, Luke, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, I've never played a fish from that far out at all. And like 1 minute it feels like it's on, and then next minute it's like there's nothing there. It's just running at you. But now it feels like, man, it's just coming straight at me. And all of a sudden you just feel a weight.
Pumping a lead back, mate, from 350 yards is no fun.
Good morning workout, isn't it, sir?
Not a 10-ounce gripper, anyway. Put your back into it, Luke. That's it. It's like a sturgeon, like you're fishing for sturgeon.
Can't lean any more backwards, that hurts.
Oh, mate.
Woo.
When are they going to bring auto reel in out? That's what you want to know.
Yeah. That'd be the one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's a disaster. Obviously, you had a few fish last night. I had one in by the time I dropped the rod, and then I had another one this morning, which you're going to see in a minute. But the boilie rods, bizarrely, have all come back like this. So what I hadn't anticipated was there's loads of little poisson chat in here, which have absolutely annihilated the boilie rigs. So yeah, theoretically we were only fishing 50% of the rods last night, because we had boilies on some and tigers on the other. So that is a disaster, and the rig's all spun up and everything. So yeah, what we're going to have to do is go plastic hook baits or tigers on all rods tonight, because you never know, we could have caught double the amount last night, because I reckon those rigs weren't fishing after about an hour of being out, which is, yeah, gutting, absolutely gutting. But
yeah, you live and learn, I guess. There you go. Those little buggers can literally twist you up and make a right mess of everything. Tiny little things, but can cause absolute devastation, like Tasmanian devils of the water world.
After a long day yesterday, we pulled up, got the rods out pretty quick, and yeah, early hours this morning, managed this one along with two others. The two others are quite small, we slipped them back, but yeah, happy with this one, great start. Get Mike sorted and bunker down for the day, I think.
Mate, the camera's getting absolutely lashed with rain. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? But
No.
happy days, absolutely buzzing with that.
Lovely big wild barrage carp.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. Really happy.
Mate, you don't get a backdrop like that at home.
No, not at all.
Well done, Luke.
Hopefully we can get one of his bigger mates.
Well, that's the plan.
That'd be ideal, wouldn't it? Come on in, Jeff. Get out of here. Happy days.
Well, there he is. That's a really old carp, I think. Really old carp. His skin's all like wrinkly and rough to touch, but yeah, really happy with that one. Big old mouth, steely grey colour, a really old, wrinkly OAP style skin. Right, we'll have one last look at him. The water's so warm. It must still be, I'm imagining they must still be in the summer areas of the lake. Oh, there we go. Rather than the... There he is. Wild. Another wild carp. In wild weather as well. Let's put him back. There we go.
Well, today has been a write-off. It has rained all day and it's now approaching 5 o'clock, and these rods here have basically been sat there since 8:30 this morning. This was all completely dry this morning, big puddles everywhere. I'm sort of living in the Somme, and those rods obviously haven't been anywhere near the spots since the dark hours, really. The reason being, it doesn't look like it now, but the wind and the waves and the weather have been atrocious. So, two reasons. I wasn't going to go out in the boat in the atrocious winds because I tried it this morning and it was ridiculous. The boat was going all over the shop, and obviously safety comes first. And the second reason is that there's been pike anglers still dotting about. I mean, they haven't got a rib like me. They've got a real sturdy, hard bottom boats. They were fine, and I didn't fancy getting picked up by pike anglers. So what we've done today basically is chill out, because we were up and down most of the night. Although small carp last night, we were still sort of suffering from lack of sleep. So I popped to the shop. We had a sleep, which was great, full of anticipation for hopefully some more action tonight. I've changed the baits over, so what I've got now is hard plastic baits tipped off with tiger nuts, because the poisson chat really just annihilated, well, 3 of the rods last night, so we weren't fishing with 3 of them. Luke obviously fished with tiger nuts, and that worked a treat. I've got these in the bag, luckily, which are, I don't know if you can see those, which are some pink plastic soaked in our Sea Monster booster. We don't do that anymore, but it was really good for penetrating. Just like the Hell and the Heaven, the 3 liquids are really good for penetrating plastic. So good job I brought those, because hopefully that's going to work and it'll allow me to keep the rods. Don't know if you can see that out there, but I am fishing to the tip of this tree here, which is about 350 yards, I'd say. Long toes, hence the reason why I've got the old big pits on, because there's about 500 yards of braid on those. Yes, that's the plan. If this rain stops, which it is predicted to do at 7 o'clock, then I'm going to tow the rods out, mine and Luke's rods out there for one more night here, and keep our fingers crossed that something will happen. Hopefully a bigger carp. That's what we're hoping for, before we move on to another venue tomorrow. But yeah, wet, wet, wet. wetter than an otter's pocket. That's what it is. But hopefully the rain's going to pass shortly. We better get the rods out. Well, what's quite sad actually is while the rods are in, I just can't sit in the bivvy waiting for the time to come to drop them. So I've been walking around the woods behind the area, and look at all this. I mean, I like to think as anglers we're custodians of the countryside, and I hate to admit it, I think that might be anglers. Now, obviously I don't know what anglers, but there's some sweet corn there, just tins. I mean, what possesses you to drink that and just chuck it in around the foliage? There's some over there as well. I think it's anglers, because if you come over here, there's some frolic. Anyone knows that frolic has been and still is actually a fairly good carp bait. People use that, used widely in Europe, so I'm assuming these aren't UK anglers. I mean, I'd be horrified if this was travelling anglers and just dumping their stuff like this. So what I'm going to do is clear all this up. So by the time we leave tomorrow, I'm just going to clear all that up and take it with me, because I definitely don't want English anglers getting a bad name. I mean, I haven't seen any English anglers here, but there's just, look, it's rubbish everywhere. It's terrible. And I just don't know what generation you're brought up in, or what ethics or you kind of work under to feel that that is okay, because it is not. I've seen it in the UK as well. It's not just in Europe I've seen this sort of stuff, and it really, really boils my blood, because the countryside is so precious, and as anglers I want to see it clean and tidy, not a bloody dumping ground. I don't know what that is. Definitely doesn't look like any English lager or brew, but yeah, not my idea of fun. I just cannot leave it. Excuse my French. Fucking disgusting. Shame on you, whoever that is. Not that I'll ever get to know, because I'll be leaving tomorrow. That's all it takes, isn't it? Just a little bit of respect. Mate, usual life on the road.
Yeah.
Back of the van dinner.
It's banging. Can't fault it.
Going into the last night. Well, last night on this venue.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it? Obviously we're waiting throughout the day at our own choice.
Yeah.
Because of the pike anglers.
But this sort of fishing that you've never sort of experienced, the big wild reservoirs, the barrages,
No.
they're rough around the edges, mate, aren't they?
But I like this. This is what I wanted. It's what I asked for, pretty much. So yeah, no, I'm well happy with it. It's a different experience altogether, isn't it?
Mate, no home comforts.
No, I don't mind that.
Wild as it
I'm
gets.
from Wales, mate. There's not a lot there, is there? So this is like, you know, top class.
Well, mate, I hope the Holly van is getting a 5-star rating.
Yeah, it is. We've just got a little leak by here.
Oh no.
You know, a bit of water on the old pasta, but it don't matter too much.
Oh, mate, we'll feed ourselves, because we've got. I'm hoping for a busy night.
Yeah, hopefully. See what happens, innit?
Yeah. Well, enjoy, mate. We're on rations. We need to go to the shop tomorrow. We've got stuffed pasta and cheese. But typical.
It'll do.
3
mate.
or 4 days in, you're just mustering up whatever we can get.
Whatever you can have, that's it. Right, so I don't know if you can see or not, but Mike is way out here fishing long into the snags, and yeah, we've got all the right kit for it. This lake is stunning. I've never fished anything like it before, and it's proper got me hooked, that's for sure. So Mike's towing that out now. I've just got one of my rods out, which is here, fishing out sort of this point. We've all gone at the tigers and plastics, just because of last night with the passion on shats, sort of smashing up the boilies and stuff. So we're going for it tonight. We've had a good sleep, and we're hoping tonight we can sort of stay up, keep replacing rods, and get it done, basically have a couple more fish by the morning. So yeah, we'll catch up with you later on, probably when Mike comes back. I'm going to get into this bivvy now because it's starting to rain again, so we'll see what happens.
Gonna pop a little tip when you're leading around, just pop a boilie on the hook so you don't nick the hook point when you're leading about. So let's have a little look round here. Very rocky. Here we go. Right. Perfect. There we go. Scoops of bait. I like to spread it about, to be fair, because you don't know which way they're coming from. So that should do it. So, yeah. A little bit further back for good measure. There we go. Right, let's go. That's the last rod done. Gone under it, hasn't he?
Literally just in front.
Yeah, got him. Yeah. Another small fish though. We've got to be due a big one, haven't we?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
Fought really well.
Another really small carp. I mean, 20 pounder, I'd say.
Yeah, but he's not
Not a big carp though.
not what you thought when he's pulling around like that far.
No. I'll tell you what, mate. Boating out in the dark is weird. It's very, very strange. It's like you're sailing across, I don't know, like a ghostly pond and all the mist sort of skating over the surface. It feels really eerie. But needs must. And there's no wind tonight, which is great, so the boat can hopefully sail perfectly. Yesterday, going out and dropping those rigs after those small fish that Luke caught when we were going out, mate, wasn't it? They're both.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
I mean, it's absolutely fine if anyone, I wouldn't dream of going out when it's too dangerous, but yeah, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Right, there we are. That's what just did that lovely mirror. Time to get it back out there. There he is.
Once again, we've been up most of the night, working our way through lots of small carp. Certainly not the stamp of fish this barrage was known for. However, after half a dozen boat drops in the dark, we eventually had two 30-pounders. A lovely leaving brace before we packed down and headed north to a canal for our last few days of the trip.
Two lively 30-pounders. But Luke, what a couple of days in wilderness, eh?
Yeah, perfect, wasn't it?
Enjoyed
Good
yourself?
Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, two different fish, mate. I've got a grey one. You've got like an orange one.
It's two sort of different strains, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely, mate. That is fantastic.
It's what we wanted to end, isn't it?
Yeah. On to the next venue. With these two under our belts. Bloody lovely.
Absolutely made up with that one.
Look at this buffoon. Previous profession. God knows. But we got a clean windscreen. Thanks, mate.
€5, please.
That's enough. That's enough. Come on. We got carp to catch. Come on. Mate, how many miles have we walked today?
Loads, mate. Loads and loads.
God. Well, we got here in good time, which is bloody unusual for us. Because everywhere we've been so far, as you've seen, we're just rushing to try and get the rods out right on dark. But what a contrast. Little intimate canal. I don't know. How wide is it, Luke, at its widest? 4 rod lengths, 5 rod lengths?
Yeah, it's not a lot, is it?
No, it's gin clear, which is amazing. But we agreed when we turned up, we just obviously want to go and look for some carp. I've actually fished this canal a while back now, but quite far down. And so it's got form for carp, but on our walk, Luke went left, I went right. Obviously we want to try and cover as much water as we can. Just with the Polaroids on, just sneaking along, gin clear water, didn't see anything. Didn't even see any signs of carp. So we got back to the van where we are now, obviously where we got our beds, and we just thought we'd just pop the drone up, just so once you're above it, you might get a different perspective. And lo and behold, there was 2 or 3 carp right in front of us in a big weed bed, just milling about. And the ironic thing is, you'd never see them because they were coming out of a weed hole like this, coming round and going back in a weed hole. It's crazy, Luke, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was mad to see.
Like, you would never see them from bank level because they were just like popping their head out of this weed and then doing a circuit and coming back into the weed. So one thing we know is that there's a few carp here, which is great. So we've baited a couple of edge spots, and I'm talking like 1 foot from the bank, aren't they? And we've just baited it with crushed tigers, Cremino boilies, and loads of liquids. Because on further inspection, once we've baited the spots, we just went back to check them. There's loads of our dreaded friends, the poisson chat, mate. They seem to follow us round the whole trip, aren't they?
Absolute nightmare.
It must be a seasonal thing because I never suffered with any of this when we came out in May. So as the water gets warm, maybe they just appear in abundance, I don't know. So as a safety measure, we've both got rubber baits on, and a big tiger, and those rubber baits have been soaked in the sea monster liquid, so they absolutely honk. And another thing, which is an important point actually, 5.5, 6 ounce leads, we're dropping them right in the edge, because when those poisson chat are like bouncing your rig around, you don't want them to move the lead. So this will anchor the bait right in tight, and what we're going to do is literally drop them off the edge like that, rod tips back, little bit of bait, sit here, van's here, and hopefully if we get an opportunity tonight, we'll bring it to the camera. But one thing we will definitely do, mate, won't we, is we'll get the head torch on when it gets dark. Because of the clarity of the water, I think we'll do a bit of lamping up and down here, because I know from previous experience these canals do come to life at night. They can look lifeless during the day, but as soon as you flick the torch on, there's a good opportunity to sort of spot a carp in the light. So without further ado, as you can tell, it's getting darker by the minute. Those rods are ready. Oh, better drop them in, mate, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely, get it done.
Come on, let's go. And that should seal the deal. It seems strange just spooning it in real close, but the spots are so small. I've got no choice. Ready? Look at all the oil and all the liquid and the cloud coming off. So that should do it, I reckon. Definitely will do a bite, I'm sure.
Well done. Literally just about replace or put down another rod.
And this is ramped off.
This is gone. It's just darting about. He eats out as a smaller fish, but
get that weed over his head and we'll have him. It's been out 10 minutes, isn't it? Come on. Yes. It's bigger than you think. Yes, Leo.
bloody hell.
Yes. Brilliant. Let's have a look. Oh, mate. That's bigger than you think.
Reckon?
Yeah. Well done. Yes. Another fish from another venue.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
We're not on a bad run here, are we? Alright, nice.
Yes, well done. Let's sort it out, mate. Oh, mate, look at the head on it.
It's
what
crazy.
A cool carp that is. Look at that. Lovely shape to it, Luke.
Oh,
We'll
mate,
take that, won't we?
I'm buzzing.
We'll take that. Yes.
Game on.
Game on. What does tonight have in store?
Oh, God knows. God knows. Big un.
Big un.
Big un.
Well, these are the little spots that we've sort of isolated where we think our best chance of a bite might come. They're little tiny polished off spots in amongst the weeds, so we haven't got much choice, but this looks as good as any because it's so choked with that weed. going to try and lower it down gently. If I can get it just. There. That looks good. That looks really good. Just going to put a bit of bait over the top. Like this. And that, I think, completes the trap. Brilliant.
So far, we'd spent 24 hours in the seat of my van, driving around lakes, rivers and canals all week, just searching for those golden opportunities. And I'm not going to lie, tonight it had taken its toll. We were exhausted, and the thoughts of a warm bed were about to become reality. But before I could close my eyes, I had one last rod to drop in. Now I can remember the night feeling electric. The moon was so bright, and to be honest, I struggled to sleep. I just knew a bite was on the cards.
Look at that little spot there. It's just a dusting off in amongst the weed. I put some bait there earlier on, and I left it for a couple of hours. I've come back, all the bait's gone. I don't know if that's focusing actually. Oh, sorry. Yeah, all the bait's gone. And I've seen a big common just drift off the spot. So I'm going to go and get a rod. He's not around at the minute. And ironically, they're not scared of the light. I've done this loads of times. I'm going to go and get a rod and drop it in. Luke's gone to bed because he's knackered. Had a long day. So fingers crossed I can get a rig in there. I'm using a handheld camera, so apologies. That's about the quality. And if I can get a rig in there, you never know, in the wee hours, well, won't show you anything now till the morning if I get a bite at first light, but fingers crossed, what I've just seen is a huge common result. Right, let's get a rig in. See his fins are all flat to his body, and ready for the lift. 1, 2, 3. That's a giant. That's an absolute canal giant. And we got visitors this morning. Some guy on a bike sat next to Luke. But that is what we come for. 45 £, 6 ounces. Absolute giant canal carp. How's it looking, mate?
Looks mega, mate.
Does he?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Wow. Wow. The mist rolling off the canal in the background. That is a giant. Oh, look at that, mate. Oh, he's tensing up. He's absolutely huge. Look. Oh.
That's a proper one, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Oh, mate, I'm gonna have to put him down and get him back because he's hurting my back. Oh, well, I've run out of beans, and that big old canal queen deserves to go back. God, yes. Oh. Got to take a little moment in because I don't know, those moments don't come around very often. Not big carp like that, not big wild carp like that. I don't know when I'm likely catch one better than that. Been carp fishing a long time, and that moment's got me this morning. Amazing. For the occasion, mate, I thought we'd have our last night in France. This is cider.
Been waiting for this for ages.
Whoa. Fucking hell! Jesus Christ! Mate, I exploded. Cheers. Mate, did you see that?
Well, that was it. Time was nearly up. But what an adventure. We'd worked as a team, and each and every capture really felt hard won. Luke was also a great wingman. We shared the same ethos, and just kept each other motivated when the chips were down. You see, carp fishing is so very personal. We all want different things, which is great. Yes, we could have taken the easier option and gone to a commercial pay lake, but just catching big carp isn't what we desired. It was the adventure, the unknown, the wild places, also the freedom to roam and just explore. These were all the things that fed our soul, and this trip ticked all those boxes. So we sat and laughed our way into the night, before the canal gave us just one last prize. However, pumping that little boat up at 3 AM wasn't part of the script.
Come in, mate.
Just push off, alright?
I've got it. Ready?
Especially as it was buried in a loaded van, ready for a quick exit in the morning. But it was well worth the effort.
Mate, they're special carp, they are.
Yeah, proper ones, aren't they?
Really special carp. Blown away this morning.
I nearly forgot. And just to put the record straight, it wasn't all Tom Jones and Keris Matthews in the van.